Hey, this is Marcos. Thanks for supporting the XPod 97. We now have merch, y'all. Grab a t-shirt, grab a sticker, grab a hoodie, or even get a mug for one of your relatives or something. I don't know. Rep the greatest X-Men podcast on the planet. We love doing what we do, and we want to continue bringing you weekly episodes. So don't forget to rate us and always subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest drops. Thanks again. We appreciate everything. See ya next time.
Don't worry about you.
They should have animated Forge's face when he turned on the news and he saw like all disappointed.
Like I'm like Charlie in front of the board here, where I'm like, it's right there.
Is X-Men 97 better than the animated?
Would say yes.
We gotta have some, yeah, we gonna have to have some real heart-to-hearts, you know, or maybe get in the danger room and work it out.
And he's also still, this human side that
Flawed. I like that, and that's like a theme of the whole thing, pretty much. You know, from Cyclops, from Professor on down.
Mr. Sinister's in the intro to the show because Mort is frightened of him. Was kind of our window into existing with the X-Men.
this could have been an end of episode cliffhanger. They're like, sorry guys, I just found out that's the real Jean. Dun dun dun.
Hey, this is Marcos. Thanks for supporting the XPod 97. We now have merch, y'all. Grab a t-shirt, grab a sticker, grab a hoodie, or even get a mug for one of your relatives or something. I don't know. Rep the greatest X-Men podcast on the planet. We love doing what we do, and we want to continue bringing you weekly episodes. So don't forget to rate us and always subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest drops. Thanks again. We appreciate everything. See ya next time.
Hey, don't worry about you.
They should have animated Forge's face when he turned on the news and he saw like all disappointed.
Like I'm like Charlie in front of the board here, where I'm like, it's right there.
Is X-Men 97 better than the animated?
Would say yes.
We gotta have some, yeah, we gonna have to have some real heart-to-hearts, you know, or maybe get in the danger room and work it out.
And he's also still, this human side that
Flawed. I like that, and that's like a theme of the whole thing, pretty much. You know, from Cyclops, from Professor on down.
Mr. Sinister's in the intro to the show because Mort is frightened of him. Was kind of our window into existing with the X-Men.
this could have been an end of episode cliffhanger. They're like, sorry guys, I just found out that's the real Jean. Dun dun dun.
Don't worry about you.
They should have animated Forge's face when he turned on the news and he saw like all disappointed.
Like I'm like Charlie in front of the board here, where I'm like, it's right there.
Is X-Men 97 better than the animated?
Would say yes.
We gotta have some, yeah, we gonna have to have some real heart-to-hearts, you know, or maybe get in the danger room and work it out.
And he's also still, this human side that
Flawed. I like that, and that's like a theme of the whole thing, pretty much. You know, from Cyclops, from Professor on down.
Mr. Sinister's in the intro to the show because Mort is frightened of him. Was kind of our window into existing with the X-Men.
this could have been an end of episode cliffhanger. They're like, sorry guys, I just found out that's the real Jean. Dun dun dun.
Don't worry about you.
They should have animated.
Hey yo, we are back.
We are back, and
Shoot, it's over. It's all over, y'all. It's all over. I'm so sad, but I'm happy that it happened. This has been a spectacular show. So we have to wrap it up. We wrap it up just the way we started it. That's how we had to do it. No guests, just Mega Ran and Marcos breaking it down the way we do. So,
well, hold on. One important difference is we're fresh. We're fresh. Look at us.
Back, but we fresh.
We got our merch. Go check us out.
Yeah. Go on and do it. It is tinyurl.com/xpod97 shop. You can get this comfy hoodie, that comfy tee, as well as mugs. There's stickers, all kinds of stuff.
Stickers.
Yeah,
The way
stickers.
everybody was clowning me, like, man, you sound like you super New York. I was like, I am.
Hey,
That-
man,
that's
yeah,
not something I deny.
Hey, so greetings to everybody who's joining us. I hope you've watched the show. Please, if you haven't, stop this right now. Go watch,
Yeah.
because spoiler alert, my friends, it is going down. This is the final of season 1, and this has just been a great ride, man. I first of all, I gotta get a little mushy, a little sappy, and say, Marcos, thank you for taking this journey with me throughout this 10 episodes, 10 weeks of us knocking out episodes through hella high water, through WrestleMania, through all types of trips and work and real
Yep.
life getting in the way. We did it, 10 episodes, and we're not done. So I just want to thank you for riding with me on this.
I am very, very honored to be with you in this journey, man. Man, we killing it. We're killing it. At least I think so. But I'm all happy because I'm wearing this nice shirt. You know what I mean? Tell them where they can find them again.
Hey, you can go on to our website, or the quick shortcut, which is tinyurl.com/xpod97 shop. And yes, you can get your own. I got them in different colors. I just like the white because I feel like the logo pops on there.
Yep.
Shouts to my man Aaron Hill for doing this logo, and for my man Evan Johnson, who did those little art pieces. You've seen the Cyclops Marcos, the Wolverine Marcos, Cyclops Mega Ran, and yada yada. So thanks to our art team for hooking that up. Thanks to our podcast partners Geekscape for giving us a home to bring this to you every week. And thank you for watching and listening and telling a friend. Last week we had a majorly packed episode.
Ooh.
It was so New York heavy. I went out and bought some Timberlands afterwards.
Not me.
It was kind of crazy, man. I got to shout out Mickey Fax. I got to shout out Swave, Tat, and the freaking legendary Pete Rock, who came through and had a great time. So, have you heard any feedback from last episode from the peoples out there?
Man, I got a lot of DMs. People are like, man, how y'all swing Pete Rock? I was like, man, just make it happen, man. The God Ran over here makes things move in the industry. And also he's a huge X-Men fan, and it's like this is how powerful the IP is. X-Men 97, like, it transcends generations. People love it, whether you're a hip-hop legend, whether you're a dude at home that's just a regular person. You love it. I like it. Regardless of the podcast, I would be glued in. We would have these conversations via text or via phone calls. But y'all don't know, this is how me and Rand connect. We just wanted to bring y'all, our voice to everybody.
That's it. Basically, we letting you into our conversations, because this would be happening regardless. So thank goodness that y'all want to join us. So thank you so much for everybody either joining us live or catching us on Spotify, Apple Music. Thank you for rating us 5 stars, telling people about us, sharing, putting us in your story. If you are listening right now, do us a favor. Grab a screenshot on your phone and post it up and tag us at Mega Ran, at the Sunset Kid 56, and we will love to know that you are listening. So thank you. Man, let's get it started, because I felt like I wasn't sure if this show could end as strong as it started. It's like, it's one thing to start and be great, but can you consistently be great has been the question, and this show has done it. They hit us with the perfect 10 and the midway point at 5, but it has really never slowed down. And to end on a 3-parter is just, man, like I'm like half traumatized, but also like so excited about where this is going to lead. So it's
amazing, man. Like, it just keeps one-upping each other. And you're gonna see when we do our scores for the end, some things might surprise you, at least for me.
Yeah, it might surprise you from me too. We learned last episode, we try not to, give anything perfect or to predict, because as you know, as wrestling fans are realizing right now, when you have your own idea of how it should go and then it doesn't go there, you just get mad. So save yourself some trouble and just enjoy the product, you know.
Yeet.
Yeet. All right, well, let's get started. And you know how we do it. X-Men 97 revisits the iconic era of the 1990s as the X-Men, a band of mutants who use their uncanny gifts to protect the world that hates and fears them, are challenged like never before, forced to face a dangerous and unexpected new future.
The X-Pod 97 will track those adventures weekly. And I say to you, your X-Pod.
Here we are. Tolerance is extinction. Bastion finally said the line this episode. He said the name of the episode and explained it.
Like, there it is.
He gave us the moment. There's always like 2 or 3 moments in the show where you're like, yo, that's it. And that was one of many. But this is a packed episode. They did 42 minutes this time, when the rest of them have been about 30. I thought that. I was like, yo, I think somebody said on Twitter, like, yo, this is going to be an hour-long episode, like, to finish everything up. To me, that used to be, I remember like friends saying like that was the sign that maybe the rest of the episodes could have been a little longer. You know what I mean? Because like you saved something for the end. I think it was, what was it, Breaking Bad, where like the finale was like 2 hours or something. And we're like, dang, like y'all really had to pack it in. Like you had to make sure. And I've done that even with like my own songs. Like if you're telling a story, the last verse is like twice as long because it's like you got a lot you want to fit in. So I get that. Absolutely. So we get 42 minutes. And I think that was good, the pacing of this episode, because they didn't have to fit and squeeze everything in. You know, I feel like any of the 9 before it, this one probably has more breathing room, I guess you could call it, where, you know, so it's not just constantly, oh, this happened. Oh, this person turned on them. And this person went here. And this person died. And this person, you know, so it was a lot of breathing moments that I appreciated in this episode, because they did a lot of recurring moments between Magneto and Xavier, and going back through their friendship, I thought was really, really dope. So anyway, let's read the synopsis. Perfect. Shortly after Magneto critically injures Wolverine, Xavier uses his telepathic powers to override Magneto's mind and shut down the EMP. The Prime Sentinels are reactivated and continue wreaking havoc around the world. Just as Bastion prepares to execute Cable, Jean reemerges and as Phoenix and places the collar on Bastion, immediately deactivating the Prime Sentinels. I want to stop there because this literally could have been a whole episode.
Yep.
This part here is like all the stuff I just said is enough for a whole 30-minute episode.
Yeah, and we called this. If you go back and listen to our episodes, we're like, you know, something's gonna happen. Like Jean is gonna have to overcome, you know, we're gonna have the Phoenix. Yes, and she did have the Phoenix powers, and this was amazing because you kind of got Bastion to go full power mode, and you kind of like had a logical way to remove the pressure off, at least for that group that was on Earth. So that was amazing. Mm-hmm. What were your thoughts on that?
I thought that was dope, man. I loved it. I knew we had to get something big happening, but like I thought, like I said, I think the emergence of Phoenix is like such a big moment that it's like that could have ended the show. Like, so the fact that happened so early, we're like, oh, it's gonna go down this episode. Like, you immediately know, like, that's only the beginning. So we knew Jean was gonna have a big part. We did predict that last episode 9 on all of your podcast apps. Go check it out if you haven't yet. But yeah, it was so well done. I want to talk about the Prime Directive, that the violation that Charles Xavier commits here. Now, there's a quote in this from Magneto where he said that's a violation, and he's talking about Xavier using his mind powers to go inside of Magneto and get him to like rob them of basically their free thought, you know. Yep. And so that made me think about RoboCop. You remember RoboCop?
Yes, of course. That's an amazing movie and an IP. You know, I even watched a short-lived cartoon.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they had a cartoon, but I do love the first two RoboCops. Apparently, there's like 4 or 5, and then like a freaking reboot and a TV series. There's all kinds of things. But
Yeah.
as I was looking it up, because I wanted to make sure I got it right, there are 3 tenets in the world of RoboCop that once he's activated, he has these 3 prime directives. And the prime directives are the things that you have to follow because he's a robot and you can't become sentient and override these things. And so it was 1 was serve the public trust, 2 was protect the innocent, and 3 uphold the law. Then when they found out later, there was a classified one, a 4th one. Do you remember the 4th one?
No.
So at the very end, I don't know why. I know the entire first RoboCop movie word for word, but they get to the end, and
That's
and
a great thing. It should go on your Wikipedia.
Oh my god, yeah, it's one of my proudest moments, I guess. 1987. I was way too young to be watching this, but but yes, I know it all. So the boss of OCP is like, yeah, there's actually a 4th prime directive, and it's any attempt to arrest any officer in this corporation will result in you automatically shutting down. So basically, it was like to keep him in his place, basically. So I got reminded of that. Sorry about that RoboCop tangent, y'all, but I got reminded of that when it came from when we got this point where now Xavier, as a good guy, has this level that he will not stoop to, which is usually interrupting somebody's free will. Because it's like, yo, if you got mind control, yo, I'm gonna just make you walk off the cliff. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really have an issue with somebody, you could just make them do something. You know what I'm saying? But that's the line that Professor Xavier never crosses. But in this case, you know, desperate times call for desperate measures. So he has to do it.
If you think about it, it makes Professor Xavier the perfect foil for Magneto because they both have very OP powers. And if they were both, you know, let's say they, you know, borrowing from wrestling, let's say they go on the 2-man power trip, which in wrestling, it means they just say, screw it. There's no wrong or right. We're just going to do whatever we want. Like, who's really going to stop them? You got one that controls the mineral that's probably in everything, and one that controls your mind. So it's a wrap. Like, you know what I mean? And
it's a wrap.
And that's why every time that they write Xavier in the comics, it's kind of like he has this burden that, you know, it's like, yeah, we're gonna fight, but he really has a line that he doesn't cross except on occasion. You know what I mean? It's like the Batman rule with no killing. It's like technically he doesn't, but you know, he bends the rules here and there.
Yeah, sometimes you got to put somebody to sleep for a long time. You know? So yeah, I thought that was interesting, and I'm curious that if this is something like we've talked about it. This show has been so good at showing the flaws of each character. Like you see the good stuff, but you also see the conflicted nature. And Professor Xavier hasn't done it all right this show. Some would argue hasn't done anything right.
I mean, you got whoever you ask to write X-Men, they'll tell you.
yeah, depends on which X-Men you ask. So yeah, his decisions have been questionable. And then here's one more. But you know, again, you know, it's like the Dave Chappelle thing where it's like he saves, but he rapes. You know, like it's bad. It's very, very bad. But he saved a lot of people. So
yeah, it's like
you just have to weigh you gotta weigh the good with the bad with it. And so if there was really no other way, you gotta respect it. All right, so that part goes down. The EMP is shut down. We're thinking everything's all good. The Prime Sentinels are reactivated, and Bastion decides to take it to Cable, rips this dude's arm off.
And no. Rips his arm off and proceeds to beat the hell out of him with his own arm. This is like disrespectful. And it's not like he hit him. No, he was smacking him with his own hand.
Just whop, 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 whop. Yeah, that was really disrespectful. I was like, dang, don't tell me you gonna kill this dude with his own arm. Like, how disrespectful can you get? So Bastion's able to use that to transform into another form. Jean reemerges. We get the Phoenix. Like I said, Jean gets her moment. We learn that the Phoenix hasn't like left Jean behind. It's still there. And Jean gets to be powerful. And she gets revenge on the guy who started all this, Mr. Sinister. So I thought that was a great moment with Morph as well.
What did I say? I told you Mr. Sinister is like a roach. That man never dies.
Never dies.
Like, yeah, my man. You know, they treated him like a Hollywood starlet and took off all his makeup and everything. But my man was still alive. He didn't like how he looked, but he was still alive.
He was still alive.
Morph had the greatest comeuppance for him, which was hilarious.
We talked about in the past episode with Cam Seahawk, shout out to C, and he mentioned the importance of Morph to the stories, and we got the perfect closure in that moment, you know. So if Sinister's gone for good, which I doubt, Morph very much helped push him that way, which I think is really dope to see that he got a little bit of revenge on the guy who has caused them so much trauma. That was cool
the story.
Morph finishes the story. There's so much wrestling in this stuff.
Yes, wrestling is everything.
Yeah. All right, so the Cowler gets on Bastion, deactivates the Prime Sentinels. She takes away Sinister's powers and control over Cable before the Phoenix Force disappears. Bastion rips off Cable's arm, smacks him with it, and then uses it to upgrade himself and fly towards Asteroid M.
Which I believe his arm is made of adamantium. That's why he used his arm specifically. Because of the strength of it.
Okay. I can see that. That actually would make a lot of sense is what the arm is made out of. That it's but I guess it can be ripped off, but it can't be like destroyed, I guess, because adamantium is like the strongest, element or whatever.
If you think about it, they kind of did a play on what happened to Winter Soldier. Is Winter Soldier has an arm made out of the material that the Black Panther uses, but they just deactivated and the arm fell off. So it's like, it's attached to a human body, so it's not gonna the human body's the weak link.
Gotcha. All right, so we get a lot of great family moments with the Summers in this episode. I thought, man, I got a little low key emotional, man. Scott and Jean come back as like kind of force ghosts and just kind of say goodbye, and they sit down, they talk about family and the eyes and all that stuff, and it's a really beautiful moment. And but he says, man, I want to make sure that you don't have to go through what I went through. Like, I'm gonna make sure to say goodbye, And I was like, dang, man. Like, and thus the full redemption arc of Cyclops is complete. Cyclops is officially a G in this entire series.
and he gets emotional. He's like,
he gets a little emotional. Like, he's allowed to be emotional. Like, the problem was in the anime series, he was kind of a wuss as well as emotional, but there's this fine line, like, I get it, being a leader, especially in the 90s in our old cartoons, you had to be all noble and kind of low-key boring, but man, he nails it. Like, they completely nail and totally redeem Cyclops in this series. I can't say enough about how they managed to change my opinion of a character that I thought I didn't like, to be honest.
He's gonna come back with a beard, because that's when everybody when you become the man, you come back with a beard. You're like, hey,
you a little grizzled. You come back a little grizzled. Yeah, I can see that. Upon his arrival on Asteroid M, Bastion is confronted by the Blue Team. Meanwhile, Xavier struggles to save Magneto's mind. Gold Team arrives on Asteroid M in a commandeered Sentinel to join the Blue Team in the fight. Cyclops tells the X-Men to stand down before he attempts to reason with Bastion, but missiles launched by the U.S. military bombard Asteroid M. Bastion is killed by the core reactor's explosion as the asteroid descends back to Earth. So now we got another catastrophic extinction level event. An asteroid is about to come crashing down to Earth and kill us off like the freaking dinosaurs.
But
And so,
here's the thing. Here's the thing that whole scene when they were showing the U.S. government and everything, like you had Iron Man and you had Captain America, and you could tell Steve Rogers was upset because he was like, "Why are we doing this?" And the president was like, "Oh, we're gonna do it." It's like, I'm no genius, but it's like if you're gonna shoot something down, wouldn't you want to shoot it down to destroy it? They just made it fall down quicker, which was my thing. Was like, bro, who's running your intelligence for this?
yeah, that wasn't really super smart. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much they thought that through. But I don't know, man. That's the army for you. I don't know. Military intelligence. Oxymoron sometimes.
Yes.
Yes. So I like that pretty much every character gets a moment in this episode. We get Rogue getting a chance to kind of repeat Gambit's name. She gets a little comeuppance. We even get Nightcrawler praying before it goes down. Like everybody has a really good moment. And by the end, and initially I was like, Bastion, who is this clown? But I think by the end, through they spent a lot of time kind of hyping him up. So maybe it's for that reason. He actually turned out to be a pretty interesting villain, and more so than I thought he was going to be. So I give him props for that, because I was like, man, who is this clown? But I have to admit, they did their thing with him.
He's as much as a product of his environment as he was a bad guy, because he even said it. And then towards the end, he chose his demise. He was just like, and he said he did it with a smile, kind of like, I don't understand why I did this at all. And he just jumps into whatever that ether was, the portal or whatever the hell he did. He just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like,
so you get a really good you get some pity, some understanding for him, who's a guy who is not a human, not a mutant, but kind of somewhere in the middle. And it's definitely it puts you in a bit of a weird spot for him, but I think that works. Honestly, I feel like everybody else except Wolverine, because I didn't get what I thought, that the Wolverine recovery. But I feel like that can happen with some time.
Yeah, that's gonna happen in even in the comic when the whole thing played out. And this went a different direction, which I'm glad it did, because I guess it would have taken so many storylines off the board if they would have gone with Onslaught, which I thought, even at that point, I thought that was gonna happen. I thought at the end, Xavier was gonna be like, I can't do anything, and just jump out of his mind, but he didn't. But
yeah,
another thing that we got to talk about is that Morph actually finished the story in two ways, because he told Wolverine he loves him as Jean Grey, but I think he was speaking his own feelings, which was awesome.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, snap.
Which is awesome.
Dang, I did not catch that. You're right. Okay, so he's giving Wolverine what Wolverine probably needs, but he's also getting his real feelings out. Man.
Yep.
Ooh, that's powerful.
Yeah, man.
Okay. I like that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Great scene. Too.
Man, Morph has been, I can't, like, there's been a moment every episode. I can't even say that about probably every character, that there's been a moment every episode where I was like, okay, like, I'm very pleasantly surprised with the way they've used Morph throughout this show. He had two key moments in this episode, which were really dope. That was cool. So now I didn't finish the rest of the wrap
we got it,
because there's a lot.
There's a lot. It's a double episode packed into one.
The X-Men used their combined effort to stop the asteroid from crashing back on the East Coast. Magneto regains consciousness and sends the asteroid back into space before it explodes. Yay! Wait. In the process of this,
hold on. Can we talk about Magneto's recovery? Not only does this man recover, but you could tell what a close bond than him and Xavier had. Because even after, what you're going to talk about, he kind of like, it was like bro, I'm over it. Like we good. Like at least that's what it felt like to me because it's like Xavier helped him go through a cathartic healing
Mm-hmm.
by going through his emotions and accepting the anger and understanding and kind of like make him understanding that Xavier carries the same guilt, the same anger, but he channels it in a different way. And the show did a really good job in that because it was to the point that Magneto could have just woke up and just be like, and let's do the MP again.
Right?
Like,
Yeah, that's true. Like, oh, where was I? Oh yeah, world destruction.
but no, he came in and it was like, I am Magneto, and then like flexed hard.
Man,
And
that was
like,
dope.
this is
That's a
light
great
work
moment.
for me.
I do think Magneto at this point, if we hadn't thought about it before, is probably the MVP of this entire first season. Like, he's MVP. Like, this dude has always had the right thing to say. He's always had the right thing in his like mind as far as the direction he wanted to go. And you know, he's tried. He's always tried to do exactly what he thought was best for the
He
moment.
evolved and he stood on business, as they say, as the young kids say, stood on business.
Oh yeah, he stood on business. I am not mad at that. I think I couldn't say enough about the portrayal of Magneto in this season. My man, as a pagan priest says, when he flexes, he flexes. He made sure, as you know that he is him. Yeah. All right, we are still going. All right, everything seems to be all good. This asteroid is going. Wait, the X-Men are also gone. Where this asteroid is gone. There we have no idea what's happening. 6 months later, we get an update. Bishop is standing in front of a poster, which I had to pause and rewind like 3 or 4 times just to kind of see who was all on it, who wasn't. And you noticed the majority of X-Men that weren't either presumed dead or AWOL or whatever was like the C team. Like, no disrespect, but it was like none of the immediate guys that we had seen or seen a lot of this particular. I mean, even Jubilee and Sunspot were going. I was like, dang, like everybody. So I'm curious what that'll do and what kind of cameos we'll get with that. Also, we got to get on to the cameos. Got to talk about that.
But hold on. Now that you mentioned the poster, I could quickly go over who was on that wall. So Cyclops, missing, presumed dead. Jean, same thing. Storm, same thing. Beast, Magneto, Nightcrawler, Jubilee, Sunspot, AWOL, gone. They were like, deuces, we're done with this.
Right, we out.
Xavier, missing. Scarlet Witch, off-world, according to the board. Colossus, available. Yes. Morph, missing, presumed dead. Rogue, missing, presumed dead. Dust, which is a throwback X-Men character, is available. Archangel, missing, presumed dead, which ties into my apocalypse theory. We have Magic, who's available, who's an old school character. Wolverine is missing, presumed dead. Iceman, available. Havoc, which is Scott Summers' brother, available. Cable said, I'm out. I don't care who's here. We done. Exodus, which is another throwback, he's available, or they're available, rather. Quicksilver, off-world, which is telling. I think they're going to tie in something to that. Shadowcat, available. Emma Frost, available, and Quicksilver, as I said, he's off-world. And they had Kitty Pryde in the background. So all these people are like cameos, but like they told you in their universe where they stand, which will be important there. Like, bookmark that for later.
Yep, they're like, we told you, we gave you the breadcrumbs, so maybe you'll see them, maybe you won't. Let's talk about the cameos though, because there was so many moments in this episode where I was like, yo, yes. One of my favorites was, maybe a little unexpected, was Daredevil showing up. We got Daredevil, we got who else? Silver Samurai,
we got King T'Chaka, which is T'Challa's dad.
T'Challa's
dad. Fits because he's young. T'Challa's
probably
his kid.
This is 97, so you know, you got to think he'll be next up. So they can address that.
Him keeping how they portrayed him in the movie is very black and white. My man was like, nah, I don't think so. Send the missiles.
I like that. Yeah, that was very close to his portrayal in like when he was young T'Challa in the first Black Panther, when they went or T'Chaka when he went back to Oakland to meet with the dude and came in the room with him. It was very similar to that character. So that was a good continuation. I also liked, with it being 97, Black Panther with the huge collar.
Yep.
I like the collar joint. You know, I was hoping he would have that big collar cape at some point in the new movies, but I dig a high collar. That's a good classic superhero.
Pop of the collar. And
No.
of course, we had Peter, we had Mary Jane, and we had I believe Brock was there too, which means Flash Thompson.
Flash, I think, was there.
Yeah. So that completely changes the game. They had so many things. Morph turned into Sauron. The radio station 1996.06. It's like a protocol. That's the name of the Magneto protocol. There's a lot of like little Easter eggs, little things. Of course, Morph turned into Mr. Fantastic. Another amazing Morph moment. Like he's killing it. They showed Magneto's children in the mind of the flashback, but they were like blacked out, but you could tell he had Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and even Polaris was there.
Yep. Who else? We got Doctor Strange, who was working in the hospital. There's a moment where power was out, so you see candles. You see him telepathically doing surgery without his hands. We see Omega Red. We saw Psylocke. Who else? Puck. Cloak and Dagger. Like,
yes, which was deep cut. I love Cloak and Dagger.
That's a deep cut. Like if you were like a 90s Marvel head, like a deep Marvel head, then maybe you rock with Cloak and Dagger. But they weren't, they were not household names.
They had, of course, the 96 version of Iron Man and the 96 version of Captain America. They showed Robert Kelly for the first time.
Wait, R. Kelly?
No. The president, the guy that
it
was this guy. No, guys, we do not endorse bad Robert Kelly here.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Just to make sure, it was amazing. It was a bunch of people. Like, man.
Yeah, I love all the throwbacks, the callbacks. My favorite might have been Rogue getting to say "remember it" to Bastion. That was awesome. We got the blue side of the moon.
Yep.
So where they had the fight, that's usually the home of the Watcher. So that was pretty cool. I love seeing King T'Chaka. The Magneto protocols. I rewinded that a couple times too, and I saw that it says children, and it notes Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch on that,
which we saw in the and
then they popped up too. They were on that little boat. So Morph did another transformation. I don't know if you noticed it, but Morph transformed into Sauron.
Yes.
After arriving on Asteroid M and dealing with Mr. Sinister. It was a brief transformation to Sauron, the green dino dude from the Savage Land. And that was Sauron was in the video game episode because they were in the Savage Land. But that was a cool little moment. The Mr. Fantastic one was really, really good. Like, man, Morph's just on some like amazing, so many great moments.
My man got a Rolodex. I was like, who am I going to pull out today? Like, you got to think about his power only works if he remembers and knows what their powers are.
So he has to have met these people, right? We talk about this every week. We try to he just has to know about them, or he has to have met them.
He has to have knowledge, I believe. I don't think he has to touch them or meet them. I think he just has to have knowledge of them.
So he could read the Marvel cards, the trading cards, and then be like, all right, I'm about to transform. Okay, I got you.
Or he probably just be on the Cerebro's computer aspect and just be like, look up the Wikipedia of mutants out there. Like
okay. Priest says he has to have seen them. So if you've seen them at some point, which I mean, we're all mutants, we're superheroes, we see each other.
But that's a very broad definition. If I look at a picture or a video, guess what? I saw you. I know what you are. You know what
That's
I mean?
right. I saw you on the Marvel card, or I saw you in the video game, and now I can change to you. Oh man.
Oh man.
Again, all right. This is the big. I always come up with maybe one or two questions in this series, and I
Yep,
would
yep,
ask
yep,
you.
yep.
We loved everything about this series. Is there one member of the X-Men you maybe would have wanted to see more of in season 1?
Colossus, bro. Colossus. I love the cameo of his picture, but to me, because the era that I started liking X-Men was
Mhm.
around the video game. And in the comic, Colossus was always a part of the team, at least for the run that I read as a kid. So that's my guy.
Okay.
I was happy that they brought him for the Deadpool movies. I want to see him animated. I want to see him in any IP. I'm even looking forward to him being a cameo in the new Wolverine Deadpool, but who knows? That's the guy that I like.
Okay, I like Colossus. I meant of the original squad, but that's actually a really good answer. That takes me somewhere else about where we think anybody else will appear. But of the original squad, is there anybody that you felt like maybe should have got a little more shine?
Of the original squad of the picture, of the OG squad?
Yeah, of
I
the people
think
that we showed, like who maybe you wanted to see a little more of, but we didn't.
I think I would have wanted, ironically, to see more of Jubilee in terms of her maturity, but I guess the character that they foreshadowed in her video game arc is somebody that she grows into later. Because I thought, when they were fighting and she hit Bastion, I thought she was going to manifest. She did kind of, but I thought she was going to power up heavy when she hit him with the 2-piece and use some of those power ups. But I guess we have time for her to mature.
No, that actually makes a lot of sense. She can mature. She can get back into her true self at some point in the near future. So I personally felt like, and I've said it a lot, so I don't want to keep harping on it. And I feel like they did it right, but then when we get to the end, I was like, I think this is a legit complaint, and I think it's Wolverine. I just feel like I would have liked a little more Wolverine. Could you have ever dreamed of watching this show and being like, all right, the final battle is not going to include Wolverine? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have never, ever imagined that. So
I get it, but I think they wanted to let him cook. They wanted to let everybody else cook so they could do it. And I apologize, y'all that are watching live. My camera's acting funny, so you're going to get the audio on this one. So basically, I like the fact that we got Wolverine and Wolverine did his thing, but he didn't dominate, because now we have something to look forward to. We got closed arcs. We got everything. It's a couple things that people forget about that this show really gave us, these moments. You know what I mean? Without these moments, we're not going to love the show as much, because Wolverine is always going to be their number one character, because that's Wolverine.
Yeah,
but
he's already been the guy, and he's had decades to be the guy. I mean, they freaking call the show Wolverine and the X-Men.
How many things that he do? He kind of started his own IP. He's been featured in a dozen movies. It's come on, man.
I get it.
I get it.
Give some other people some shine.
Yes.
I understand it. I just felt like, man, just a little more. But we got our moments. The last episode, the one before that, we got our moments for him. I still think Beast. I feel like I was waiting for a great Beast moment. Didn't quite get that, but we got some good story arc situations that could lead to some cool stuff with Beast. But like you said, Jubilee got her own episode. Storm got basically a whole episode with her 2 parts. Rogue got an episode, several parts in several episodes. The Cyclops and Jean story has been the entire season, the Summers saga. So really, and Morph has had a moment every episode. Nightcrawler has had some amazing episodes and moments. So yeah, I can agree that more Beast, maybe a little more action for Morph, and more Colossus. I would not be mad at that. All right. I am going to now get into the end. We got to talk about the ending, and then we get to do our predictions. 6 months later, Bishop pays Forge a visit, tells him that the X-Men are trapped in time. Bishop comes in and says, man, luckily for you, this is not the first time we've had to deal with the whole X-Men are dead scenario.
But can we talk about the swag that my man Bishop pulled up in? He came in like whatever he had in his hand, he was like, yeah, like, I've been here before. Like, and then Forge was like, excuse you?
Like, yo, who are you, dog?
And I wanted Bishop to be like, dog, you knew. Like, relax. like
that was
chill.
Interesting. I had almost forgot like that these guys hadn't necessarily had a lot of or any interactions. So this is their first time kind of hooking up because Bishop's been who knows where for a long time. So but yeah, I thought that was cool. We get a little, don't worry, we'll figure it out. And then we start going through time and we get to Cyclops and Jean are in I guess the 3960 AD, and they encounter a woman and
in the future,
and then a child. And when they call the child Nathan, we know what's happening. It's the future, and it's your kid again.
Yep.
So I didn't know much about Mother Ascani or anything like that. So I don't know. Could you tell me a little bit? Do you know anything about who Mother Ascani is?
Well, she essentially is the person that actually raised Nathan and was part of his childhood, but she made him a warrior and kind of like just told him about how all the great stuff that they've done, and it kind of like foreshadows why like the future has definitely changed. If you think about it, if this is canon and they got put into the future that's now created, then essentially Nathan will have some time with his parents before, he goes back into the time loop or whatever, because I figure that that's always going to be a part of Nathan's, past or future. But, she's kind of like, I don't know too much. I do know that the Ascani clan is a clan that Nathan learns how to fight and kind of learns how to be Cable. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. So they kind of teach him what he knows.
But correct me if I'm wrong. We didn't get Wolverine, did we? Or Morph?
No, I didn't see any updates on those guys. So we don't know where they are.
Yeah.
And they only gave us two scenarios, two places that things were happening in. So I'm sure there's others that maybe we'll get.
I kind of feel bad for the Summers because it was just them two, and then the other X-Men was like 87 of them rolled up.
Right. How you get
it's like a whole group
to go to the other spot. But this one is the family timeline for y'all. It's like y'all sort y'all family stuff out, and then we'll see you in Egypt somewhere. So yeah, you get Rogue, Beast, Nightcrawler, Magneto, and Xavier in ancient Egypt in 3000 BC, where they meet the man who will become Apocalypse. So we finally get to where I thought we were going to get. And so I feel like Apocalypse will run next season as the big bad, as the X-Men figure out how to get back into their particular timeline. And we get a lot of weird, confusing, timey-wimey stuff happening. Shout out to Doctor Who. As Priest says, Bishop does know Forge, but it's just in this time period, Forge hasn't met Bishop yet. They're allies in the alternate future. There's so many alternate futures, and then most of the alternate futures, the X-Men die. And so basically a lot of the folks have spent most of their time trying to undo that. And a lot of that has led to either Bishop or Cable having to travel. Cable's come forward a lot, or back rather, to try to save his family and save the X-Men. Bishop has gone forward a lot to try to save the X-Men. So it's a very interesting journey that they've all been on. And so now those two have to get a squad together to go save the rest of the X-Men. And then there's a post-credit scene. Now, that has never happened yet, or at least I don't know, because I guess I haven't watched long enough to know. Now I got to go back and see, because I almost missed this. There was a post-credit scene.
Yeah,
Marcos.
I had to go back and watch it. For some reason, I like looked up because it's one of those look up and you miss it scenes.
Yeah. So tell us
What
about what
I
happens in the
said,
post-credit.
what you hear is my children.
Hmm.
And then the voice and the hand is it's Thanos. No, I'm messing with you. It's Apocalypse.
Mhm.
And he picks up dirt and brushes it off. And what do we get? A
Mm.
playing card, which I'm gonna do a victory lap now. It is Gambit is gonna come back as one of his horsemen, Death. You heard it here, folks. Probably heard it a million times elsewhere, but I think that's what's gonna happen. And sir, I'm kind of correct. What did I say? It was Agatha all along, aka it was Apocalypse all along.
I mean, that wasn't much of a stretch. They had him in the intro of the show since the beginning, so you had to know, or maybe
So now it's not okay.
nah, you didn't crack the code. I mean, I kept thinking like, well, maybe they are throwing us off. Maybe that was just because he was in the last, animated series from 92 to 96. So, but no, but now we finally get him. I like his saying. He said, "So much pain, so much death." And if you know comic books, you know that most deaths are not permanent, they're not final. And now I think we're going to get Gambit back as Death, as one of the four horsemen, which I hope means that we get Archangel. I really love Angel.
Yes.
Yeah, that was one
Not
of my
Angel.
dudes.
I love Archangel.
Archangel. Yeah, Angel's kind of
when he got the feather wings, I'm like, nah, bro, you need those cybernetic Tesla wings, brother.
Man, that was one of the coolest like transformations I'd seen. So
that is my favorite action figure of the X-Men run outside of Wolverine.
For sure. Oh, Priest drops another gem on us that you have to remember that Apocalypse is a shapeshifter. So theoretically, just like Mystique, he could have shown up in the show repeatedly and we would never know. And that is possible. We're gonna probably see another Bo DeMaio tweet being like, "Oh man, Apocalypse was in every episode. Now go back and find him."
Like, yeah, he was here the entire time.
Yeah, he was right. He was sitting down. He was right there.
Matter of fact, him and Wolverine had a beard. They didn't even know together.
You didn't even know it. He was right there. I put him right on the screen. What? So speaking of Bo, they asked Bo a lot of things, and he's been very active on Twitter. So I've been kind of low key stalking him.
Yep, and I'm been in his DMs to try to get him on the show.
We're going to try our best to get him on the show. But when someone asked about the finale, he said, they asked, "Hey, yo, where's Deadpool? Why didn't you pop up Deadpool?" And his response was off limits. So there was not a possibility of tying this in to the Deadpool Wolverine movie in any way. And I actually think that's great. Like, you don't have to tie anything in. You don't have to make everything be a continuation. Let's just let this thing stand alone and be great. That's it.
Yep. And, like, he gave us a lot as is. Like, come on, let it breathe. We have 5 more seasons, baby. Like, let this work.
Let it breathe. Enjoy it, man. So we know that Bo wrote at least one more season. I don't know what's happening outside of that, but I'm really excited about what's going to happen with the rest of this show. Man, all right. I guess we just ain't nothing else to do here, but rate it.
We're going dark here for me. I don't know what's going on, guys. My camera's been on way too long today, apparently. Who knows? And I apologize. We're going live. If
we do it live. We do it live.
There we go. I'm back.
Hey, there you go. Also, I want to get into what is, to me, I think this is one of the first or one of the best episodes for sure. They did such an amazing job. Again, I'm gonna rate it first. I'm gonna give this episode a 9. I think a solid 9 is not a bad place to end this show when we've had arguably 10s up or very close to 10s up and down this show. So I'm gonna give this one another 9. What do you think?
I'm gonna say this is right up there with episode 5. I'm giving it a 10. Both made me feel the same way, but this one gives me that like that nervousness because I'm like, now I gotta wait until next season. I think this is easily the best rejuvenated animated property in the history of animation and is the number one show, animated or not, in the United States right now, and I think of the year. And I'm not, you can say I'm capping, but I feel like this is 100% the best show we have seen.
Well, there you have it. I ain't even mad at that. I cannot argue. This show has been phenomenal, spectacular. I just heard that they're submitting episode 5 to try to win what is it, an Emmy or something? Like
it has to win. It has to.
Like, yeah, they're going hard right now. Like, they think Variety Magazine thinks that it is going to win a primetime Emmy for an animated program because it's just that good. So I can't even. It's between X-Men 97, Archer, Blue Eye Samurai, Bob's Burgers.
Nah, get those out of there.
I'm sorry. I think it's X-Men.
Get those out of there. Like, I love Archer, and they just wrapped up their last season, and it was great. I'm a fan of the show. Watch every single episode live and everything. But X-Men got it. They got it. The mouse knows how to work this.
Yeah, I think they got this, man. I haven't seen Blue Eye Samurai, so if anybody's into that, please let me know if that's
phenomenal show.
If that's
we could do if you guys like or comment, let us know. Do you want us to do a couple anime IPs? Just quick run throughs. There's a lot of good stuff out there that we can do. I'm an anime head, and Rand knows that. I watch anime all the time, every day. That's part of my weekly rotation. Wrestling, anime, X-Men. That's what I watch.
There we go. Again, I can't say enough about how great this show has been. I mean, the huge cameos, the great action, the pacing and knowing when for different characters to step up and step back. The great payoff to all the multi-layered arcs. A great setup, a great ending. It did it all. So I just can't wait for more. So that begs the question of more. This podcast, as you know, is called XPod 97. It was created for the purpose of highlighting X-Men 97. So now that X-Men 97 is over for the season, does the podcast end? Do we get sucked away into the year 4000 BC?
No.
To find our way back, or do we find a way to fill the time between our return with some new variety content, maybe some X-Men related video game, TV, movie talk? We shall see, y'all. But if you want more, let us know. Please hit us up in comments. We are all over Twitter, Instagram, and everywhere else. I'm at Megaran. Marcos is at the Sunset Kid 56. Let us know what you thought. Hit up Geekscape. Tell them you want more episodes.
Yes. Let them know.
More. Also, grab some merch. Don't forget to do that. Look fly. Be the flyest kid straight out of Genosha. This is Genosian fabric here. All mutant made. You know what I'm saying?
This is mutant approved quality.
Mutant approved quality, y'all. But yes, we will be back, and we will continue with weekly episodes based on whatever we think we want to talk about. And the first thing I want to talk about, so Marcos, you got to play this, is I just bought Marvel's Midnight Suns. It's a video game.
I'm on it.
That came out maybe a year ago. Not a lot of people talk about it, but it got some pretty good ratings. It's turn-based card strategy, but with Marvel characters all over and a great story. So please check it out, play it. Let me know what you think. I just downloaded it. I'm about an hour into it. I was battling all last night and I couldn't get enough. I just beat Venom. I got really excited. Michael Jai White does Blade, which is really dope.
I need that in real life. I don't know.
For real.
I don't know.
Just saying. We need to talk about that too. I don't know what's happening with Blade. I heard there's been a lot of confusion on what was going to happen with that story, and Wesley might be coming back, and Mahershala Ali was kind of maybe low-key complaining like that Blade wasn't the sole focus of what they were writing, so they went back to the drawing board on it. So I don't know what's going to happen with that Blade movie, but we'll see. Yeah. What Marvel needs to do is not rush anything, because we got enough to hold us over, yo. We have between Deadpool and Wolverine coming, X-Men 97 being great. Like, we don't need to ruin it by rushing out highly anticipated stuff and making it fall flat on its face. So I'm looking forward to it, but stay tuned, because we're going to talk about Marvel's Midnight Suns next week, and then we're going to get into some rewatches of some of the Fox X-Men movies, maybe some of the old cartoons. We're going to pick out some of our favorite episodes, and we will continue the X-Pod 97. It will to be continued, much like the actual show. So shout out to everybody who helped to make this show great. Shout out to everybody who's make our first season of this pod great. All of our guests, all of you for listening, all of you for 5-starring, making us a top 25 Apple Podcast pick. And I appreciate it so much. So tell a friend that the X-Pod 97 ain't going nowhere. Going nowhere. We'll be back.
Yes.
With a vengeance.
Yes.
So that is it, y'all. We're going to get out of here. But thank you very much for your time. And, power to the mutants.
Yes.
Peace.
We didn't even time that.
That was good.
Peace.
All right, y'all. We out of here.
Hey, this is Marcos. Thanks for supporting the X-Pod 97. We now have merch, y'all. Grab a t-shirt, grab a sticker, grab a hoodie, or even get a mug for one of your relatives or something. I don't know. Rep the greatest X-Men podcast on the planet. We love doing what we do, and we want to continue bringing you weekly episodes. So don't forget to rate us and always subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest drops. Thanks again. We appreciate everything. See ya next time. Hey, this is Marcos. Thanks for supporting